Hey everybody, soybean farmer here. Yesterday I went over to that old tobacco bulk barn and got these couplers out. What I'm doing, that end right there would connect right into the remotes that are on the John Deere, but I want to connect it onto the Ford tractor, and the remotes that are on that shape different. That end has just got its own shape for what John Deere does. That end's got its shape for what Ford does. After I bought these, some years after, I figured out that if I changed the ends on the Ford, the female end on the Ford, I wouldn't need these, and I could put this type of male end on every implement I've got, and problem solved. But let's see, 17 years ago, when I was trying to figure all this out, this was the solution that was offered, and I went with it. It's not a good solution because these things are open end. You can't leave this stuck on the Ford. Fluid will run right out of there. So this thing's got to move around to the different implements that you want to use it on, and every time you take it apart, all the fluid right in here makes a big mess. So anyhow, get it on there. Goes on like that. You know, there's a lot of different ways to accomplish the same thing, and some of those ways are good and some of them are not. There. Okay, that makes that ready to cable those up to the Ford once I get it cranked and get it over here. Tell you what, these things right here have sure seen, I guess I built that. That's 17 years of sitting out in the weather and how the rubber cracks off of it, but they don't leak, so still use them. All right, let's go crank a cold Ford tractor. It's about 35 degrees out here this morning, so this is going to be a cold start, but not doing it just to show you cranking a cold tractor. I'm actually doing it to put that tractor in front of this disc and go out here and do some more of this vertical tillage. Okay, this tractor has not been cranked in about 3 weeks. Last time I was over here messing with this thing, I was checking the antifreeze in it. And so let's see what happens. Alright, I've already traced the cables out, but there's a lift side on the hydraulics on this tractor. It's marked lift. And if you don't get the lift side of the remote cylinder, what I'm talking about is that's lift on the cylinder right there. If you don't get that cable connected to the lift side over here, which is the inside coupler, you got a mess. there's uneven pressure on a Ford system. Now, the fight that I was talking about, I've already traced it and I know that's lift. I want to get that in there. You can't just jam it in. You got to pull this back and hold it. Hey, it went in. Amazing. That was too easy. Let's see what happens this time. All right, I've already wiped these out. Let's see here. I'll be doggone. That's the first time I ever made a video hooking that up. That's the first time they ever just hooked up. Amazing. Well, let's see if I got the tractor warm enough for it to recrank. You know, inside of every dark cloud, there's a silver lining. You just got to look for it. Dark cloud is, well, 40/20's down. We talked about the injector pump situation. Talked to the man today, and we're having trouble finding the right rebuild kit for that odd wad pump. But, oh well, we're going to get it straight. We might even, don't know exactly what we're going to do yet, but we'll do something. Got a tarp over it. If it rains again, that's fine. Anyhow, that silver lining I was talking about, I found out that little 45 horsepower Ford tractor will pull that John Deere 28 blade disc harrow with the blade set vertical for this vertical tillage project that I'm taking on this year. And I'm tickled to death with the way this is turning out. I have got the soybean stubble cut up smaller than I've ever had it cut up before. Usually I get into a fight with it come planting time, but today is, I think it's January 29th. Might be the 30th, but I think it's the 29th. And this soybean stubble is cut up in tiny little pieces, and I haven't cut into the ground much deeper than 2 inches. So I'm not worried about having deep cut up ground and a big rain coming along and then having a big mud puddle mess to fight. But I'm just tickled to death with the way this is turning out. Couldn't have turned out any better. This little tractor's running great today, and it's actually good for a diesel to work it a little bit, get it hot. But this is just working out real well. Couldn't have asked for it to come out any better. Had to adjust this thing right here about 3 times before I finally got it right, but I got it balanced. Let's ride one time. that's the seat. I've actually, as I kept on experimenting, I'm actually running in 6th gear. All right, let's see. All right, let's go. But it's just chopping up this soybean residue. So when I get out here with that bottom plow to flip this land over, I won't have a bunch of trash to get hung up in that bottom plow. Hey everybody, this soybean farmer. Thanks for watching.